it's Candus, and in today's QuickBooks tips and tricks, I actually got a YouTube question, which I just have to say real quick, I'm loving getting to interact with you guys and having you ask me questions because it gives me inspiration to create these videos for you. So if you have questions, please do not forget to leave me a comment and subscribe. So the question today is all about if you want to create a partial credit. I created a video a few months ago about credit memos, and I got a question about partial credits. So what it's about is if you create an invoice for someone and then for whatever reason you need to credit them back a part of the invoice. Say, for the example, the question was about labor. How do you do that, and then how do you apply it to the invoice so that it doesn't show that your customer owes you doesn't owe you that money on that part of the invoice? So come look over my shoulder and I will teach you how. So here is the actual question, and the question is, if you want to give a partial credit memo to an invoice, how do you do it? Example, an invoice, you would only intend to give a credit memo for labor charged only. So let me go in, I'm going to create an invoice, and I'm going to show you how you would create a credit memo. So I'm going to go into QuickBooks, and I'm going to pick one of our people that we're always choosing, and we are going to find, let's do consulting. And we are going to charge $100, and then let's do labor. We're going to create a new labor because we don't have labor, but for this example to show them what we would do, and we will call that, and we'll leave how much per hour is blank. Labor is a non-taxable item. Okay, so we created a new item called labor, and we're going to do $50 on labor. So we're going to say $100 on consulting, $50 on labor. And, you know, we could actually do this probably as material would make more sense. And it's going to be $100. Okay, so it's $150. We're not going to worry about if the material was taxable or not in this example. So we're going to save and close that. We're going to close it without we're not going to worry about the classes. We talked about that last week. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to create a credit memo. So under Ron, you'll see that he owes you the $150. He has other invoices, but that's one of them. So there's a couple different ways to get in and create a credit memo. You can come down here, create a credit memo, or from the home screen, you can click on credit memo. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go in here and you're going to select labor. And you're going to select how much ever the labor amount is that you're crediting, or whatever the original item is. And you want to make sure, as I said in the original video, that when you create credit memos, that you create a credit memo on the current day you're in, the time frame you're in. You don't want to backdate your credit memos, because if you do have sales tax or say that you're into the next year, you don't want to have a problem. So always do your credit memos in the current year and leave the invoice to the time frame it originally was in. So we're going to go ahead and leave it as September 2nd. So we created the invoice. You'll see the invoice over here on the right. Recent transaction invoice was created September 2nd for $150, and we're crediting $50. And I recommend having a description. So whatever it is, agreement with client or customer, whatever it is, the reason you're giving them the credit, you want to have a description or a memo in there. So you can do this two ways. You can save it, or you can actually go up here and just click it right here. So what you can do when you're giving the refund is if they've already paid, you can actually give them a refund. I mean, when you're doing the credit memo, you can give them a refund, or you can actually apply it to the invoice. I'm going to click create apply to invoice, and then I'm going to select the invoice that I want to apply it to. It will automatically choose the oldest. You want to go down and apply it to the one, if that's the agreement you have with them, to the invoice you want, and click done. And then it's going to leave the balance as 0. Then you can save and close it. And what you'll see is that if you go up down here and you click balance detail, you now have on this $150 invoice, you only are showing a balance of $100. So I hope that answered your question. Again, I've been loving you guys commenting, liking, sharing my videos. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. I actually really love creating these videos for you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below this video. And just so you know, my Confidence with QuickBooks course is getting ready to come out again for you guys to enjoy in September. So feel free, if you're wanting to find out more about it, I will put a link in the description. you can put your name and email address in so that when it comes out, you can find out about it and get the early bird special. Have an amazing day, guys. Talk to you next week. Bye.